All right, hey everybody. My name is Travis Lindsay, and I am here with Greg Neeper today. Greg, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I graduated from Cal State Fullerton. Gosh, it's almost 9 years ago now. Like, and got my bachelor's over in entrepreneurship over there, and got my bachelor's in kinesiology as well. I'd been a personal trainer for a few years, and once this whole COVID thing started, I pivoted over to an auto transport business, which seems a little out of left field, but that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. So, what made you think about making that kind of a change? Because that's you've been building up a career for 9 years. Then the coronavirus hits. I mean, what was the thought process that went behind that decision?
Basically, one of my best friends, her father had been doing this for on and off for like the last 20 years. And it's, I knew how much money he made doing it. And I was talking to him about, I came out there, they live in Utah. I came out to visit for a little while, and he was telling me about like just how there's so much work for this industry out there. And there is just nobody coming in to do it. Like the average I was out there. I've been out there doing this for a few months now. I have not met another truck driver my age the entire time I've been out. So there's definitely a need in the market for it. And because I've been friends with this person so long, her father was willing to teach me how to do everything I needed, no charge. So it just seemed like a slam dunk. And I've always enjoyed being on the open road. So that's a plus too.
Yeah, that's. I was just reading an article earlier today about particular types of jobs, particularly in industry that they're gone from America and they're being done by China and other countries. And thanks to the pandemic and some steps that those countries have taken, it's kind of it's a threat to the country. It's like a strategic threat to the country, not having that ability to go and do industrial jobs or trucking like you're doing. So walk us through the decision making process or walk us through the steps that you've taken so far to start your business, and what are your plans for like the next 6 months?
Well, it so basically first things first, you have to get your commercial driver's license, and that's a whole, to be frank, it's a whole mess. Because you got to get your permit, which is pretty easy, but you have to get the permit from whatever state you're going into. So originally I I got my commercial driver's permit in California, and they told me it would be good enough, to go into Utah and use that and learn. Then I get to Utah and find out, that's not the case. So I got to take the written test again. Uh, but after you get your CDL, from then on, it's all about finding a vehicle. I was extremely lucky. My mentor had a lot of connections. I was able to get not a semi truck, but a truck big enough to be hauling cars for incredibly cheap. And then a lot of car dealerships in Utah used to get cars out of California, but they stopped because the only company that's servicing them right now, it's like 3 to 4 weeks out to get their cars. And so I was able to talk to a bunch of those dealers. They already want to start working with me. I've already got a bunch of loads coming back and forth from California to Utah. And with my truck, that's like, uh, I'm making approximately $2,000, $3,000 a load running up and back. So there was a lot to be made there. And then to get all my legal paperwork, I could have done it through LegalZoom, but I decided to go with an actual agent because every time I thought I had everything filed, five more documents popped up. And so she just took care of everything for me.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I think a lot of people who've never started a business before, they are, deeply concerned about. I mean, I just use LegalZoom for a business that we're working on. But so some of the basic questions that people have is like, how much does it cost? How much time does it take? What kind of information do I need? Can you just go over just like not like a detailed rundown of
Right,
everything
right.
that you had to pay, but like a ballpark?
Okay, yeah. So to take your permit test for the CDL, the written test is about $80, and then your driving skills test is another $80, and you get 3 retake attempts on that for your $80. If you fail it more times, you just have to pay another fee. After that, you need to find a way to get a truck. I was very lucky. I was able to get mine for cheap from one of Mike's friends, based it basically on a handshake that I would do some work for him every once in a while. So I got a truck for about $16,000, all in the clear. But if you just want to get started, you don't have to buy a Kenworth. You don't have to buy like a $70,000, $100,000 vehicle. You can get any 1-ton truck with a dual tire in the back axle can tow like a 4 or 5 car trailer. So you would just have to see how to finance that. And then how much the legal fees cost all depends on if you're going to be running just within one state. So if you were just in California, you were just in Utah, or if you want to do interstate, right? Because so your motor carrier authority, depending on what truck you get, is going to be about another $1,000. The commercial driver's insurance is going to be about, and that also depends on how far you want to go. I have unlimited mileage, so it was $2,300 down for the insurance. All the legal paperwork was about another $750 to work with the agent. And then the filing for miscellaneous other filings was about another $1,000. So all in, I'm about $21,000 ish, 22,000.
Okay. And are you set up as an LLC, sole proprietorship? What's your business entity?
Right now, I'm on a sole proprietorship. I want to pivot over to an LLC, but I was running into some hurdles with different paperwork, and like basically it was going to bottleneck my whole process for a little while. And so it was going to be faster for me to file all my paperwork as a sole proprietor and then pivot over to an LLC than it was to do it from the outset. So, but I wanted to set it up as an LLC initially because there's a lot of benefits to that.
Gotcha. And then so looking forward, what are your plans over the near term and the midterm? I know the long term is way out there, 10 years, who knows what's going to be happening, but like what are your plans on how to grow your business? What are some of your next steps there?
So right now, it's my goal is to service the dealerships I already have agreements with, and just get the ball rolling, get word of mouth going. Hey, this guy's getting runs done real quick for us. You should work with him too, kind of thing. And then just continue to grow my presence in Utah. My truck is very much a starter truck. So eventually in like the next couple of years, I want to upgrade to a full semi with right now I can hold 5 cars. I want to upgrade to like a 10-car trailer, double how many cars I can take per trip, and keep the current vehicle. Right now the plan is once I get my new vehicle, my brother's going to take his test and we'll get him in my current truck and he'll take a route because I also have some relationships with a couple dealerships in Arizona that I just can't really get to with my current capacity. And then I'd like to grow the business in the midterm up to like a reasonable sized trucking company, maybe around 6 trucks or so. Not just doing cars, but doing like containers, refrigerated stuff, things like that. I've got a guy in Utah that he said that, he's looking to retire in like the next 10 years. And so he wouldn't mind showing me the ropes before he gets out of the industry. So.
That's really cool. Yeah, I want to circle back to something because one of the things that we teach a lot in the classroom and that we see working well as investors are companies and founders, particularly who really understand the market that they're getting into and they really understand the problem that's at hand there. And you said earlier on that who was it? Was it your father-in-law or somebody that who said that there's not a lot of people going into this business right now?
Yeah, it's my best friend's father, and okay. I think a lot of it is because, and I know when I was a kid, everybody was like, hey, go to college, get a mid-level management job, get all your benefits, have a real cushy lifestyle, things like that. And so anything that's considered blue collar work has fallen significantly by the wayside because everybody's going to college, and people think they're a lot of people frankly think they're too good to, be a trucker, be this, that, or the other. And so there's just a real lack of young people going in there. Like I said, I've been doing this for months. I haven't met another trucker remotely my age. And so it's a hugely aging market. Everybody I met is either on their way out of the industry or looking to retire. So yeah.
Yeah, and then like you were just saying, right, before that, you know at least one other trucker who's thinking of retiring within the next decade or so, and they're basically saying to you, "Hey, we'll once I'm gone, you'll have this business, or I'll try to set it up so that you can take it over." And
Well,
so
not
that,
so much take it over, just, get me going so that I know how to I know how to do it. And so there's not, an even bigger gap in the marketplace than there already is. So.
okay. And then besides taking a look at blue collar jobs and thinking about not just the office job, which is now basically you're working at home 24 hours a day, what other advice would you give students? Like if you had to go back to yourself from 10 years ago and you were about ready to start off on building a career for yourself, what advice would you give yourself now?
Well, I was lucky in that I accidentally did a lot of the right things from the get-go. So my number one tip is be great with your own finances, because I was able to finance the entirety of this out of my pocket with only like the last couple $1,000s in any sort of debt. So because I was good with because I was good with handling money, I was good at growing my money. I was able to afford to do this. So that'd be my first tip. Success starts in your personal life. The second thing is don't try to be super self-made. Don't be afraid to rely on the kindness of, people in your community, people because they'll go leaps and bounds further to help you than somebody who's just an investor. And then I had one other point. We'll skip that one.
It's going to come to you, man. So,
Yeah.
okay. Finances, reach out to your network. I mean, those are all great things. Those are things that we tell people all the time. And
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's something that seems so simple that you can kind of skip over it or gloss over that thing. If you're younger, it's like maybe you think you'll figure out how to do it in the future. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you start like right away, like no student loan debt, just saving some money from every paycheck, simple things like that. Once an
Yeah.
actual opportunity comes around and you're around, 30 years old, you actually have $20,000-$30,000 saved up to get started in that space. And then the network. I mean, that's just been huge for my career and practically everybody I know. I mean, outside of like best-selling authors, I really can't think of anybody who can, and fiction authors particularly.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody who realizes a lot of success without having a very wide-ranging network of people that they can go to for their business. So going to the networking thing. How did you build out yours? Was it just sort of serendipitous meetings? Was there a purpose behind it?
Yeah. So I mean, the main person behind this was, like I said, my best friend's father. We'd been friends for like 13, 14 years. So I was already basically family at the time. So he was willing to help. And then most of the other connections I've made in Utah were dealers that he used to haul for that don't buy cars from Utah anymore. They want to buy them from California. So he's like, these are some old people I used to work with. They really liked working with me. If you do a good job, they'll like working with you, kind of people. And then some of the other truckers, it's basically his whole contacts network. And then some people like JJ over in the entrepreneurship program, he was huge in getting me started as well. Cause I was like, I'm not sure. I emailed him. I was like, I'm not exactly sure where to start from the whole business end of these things. And so he pointed me in the right direction more than a couple times. So that was good.
So what was some of the advice that JJ, that's director John Bradley Jackson, what was some of the advice that he gave you when you were starting?
Well, so he was the first person I didn't even know they existed. He was the first one to recommend LegalZoom to me. He was also the person who recommended the LLC structure to me. And after it'd been a little while since I'd looked at all that stuff, so once I
Yeah.
read into it, I was like, yeah, this is definitely what I need to do for to protect myself, to protect my company, because even while I was out in Utah, one of my mentor's friends, he was just driving down the road. A car pulled out in front of his truck when he was going 70 and it got obliterated. And now the guy's relatives are suing him because they can, because he's a sole proprietor. Even though it's not his fault, he'll probably be fine. But I wouldn't even have to worry about being fine if I had that structure. So,
Right. Yeah. I mean, your LLC would be sued,
exactly.
and that would be problematic. But if that were to happen, worst case scenario, the company would declare bankruptcy, and you wouldn't have to declare personal bankruptcy.
Right.
Um, and so, yeah, and if you, for people who don't know, I'm sure you do. I think that when you have to declare personal bankruptcy, that kind of screws up your finances for, what is it, 7 to 10 years, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, 7 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And then if you have a bankruptcy, forget about finding a place that'll rent to you.
Mhm.
It's about the same as having an eviction in their eyes, um, and credit cards, any kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I just set up an LLC page. I think all told it was like less than $1,000, and just did it through LegalZoom. It's a really simple process. So if anybody out there has any questions about it, come to us. Greg now is, well, you don't have an LLC set up yet, right?
No, I need to. I'm waiting for. I've got one last legal document coming in for my company, and then after that gets in, I can start looking to pivot, because that was the bottleneck, was getting this one piece of paperwork as an LLC took much longer.
What was that one piece of paperwork, if I may ask?
It was my motor carrier authority.
Oh, okay.
They
All right.
just, like, if you're they trust a person a lot more than some company that has zero business dealings, has no record, driver's record, has no nothing. But I have my own personal driver's record. I have my own personal bank statements and stuff like that. So it was just a lot easier to get that through.
All right, man. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody out there has any questions about how to set up their business, come to us at the Center for Entrepreneurship. Don't come to Greg yet.
No.
Wait for a couple of months. Wait till he gets it and becomes an expert in it. Yeah, come to us. So Greg, we're at about the 20-minute mark here, maybe a couple minutes short of that. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Have you remembered that third point that you were going to talk about?
Oh, yeah. You're going to go, like, when you go into the entrepreneurship program, generally you have something in mind. You have a business that you want to start, and that's all well and good, but you might not have the resources for it, or you might not have the mentors, or you might not have the people behind you that you need to do it. So you can still do that thing, but get the money first. Like, find out what your opportunities are for success. Go do that thing you have the best opportunity and success to be successful in, and then down the road, once you've made some more connections, once you have some more money, then you can, possibly go do whatever it is that you were wanting to do in the first place. But get the cash first, be successful first, and then maybe move on from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just add on a couple of sentences to that. But yeah, I mean, there's 1,000 different ways to start a business, and you could, like, if for example, if you wanted to be like Greg and follow him in his footsteps, maybe you don't have a friend's father who's already in the industry, but you could start getting jobs in that industry, and then just
Right.
start building up your reputation that way. Start getting to know people. If you want to become a marketer, if you want to be an independent marketing consultant, maybe it's not the best idea to start out on your own, although you could, but go and work for an existing agency. You could also, I mean, just go out and put your shingle up on like Fiverr or one of the other freelancing websites, and just start building up your reputation that way. I mean, it's just, no matter who you are, you're going to start out pretty much at the bottom, unless you come from a family that has some money to back you for some of this stuff. But even if you have somebody who is going to give you $50,000 to start a business, that doesn't mean that, you know, it's going to be successful. So you still have to do the work. You have to build up your reputation, and just keep on building it. Nobody's an overnight success.
Right.
But, you know, in 5 years, Greg, when you do have a 10-car fleet and you're grossing $15 million a year, we'll have another conversation about how you were an overnight success. So, so I'm looking forward to that, man. Thank you very much for doing this interview, and it was a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you too, Travis. Have a good one.
All right, have a good one, Greg.